Hi, this video is about Tesla's AI with full self-driving. There's some interesting lessons that I think we can learn from this. I've owned a Tesla for 4 years and I paid for the full self-driving and the autopilot, which are two separate things, right up front. And I've experienced the autopilot for a long time and I've had the full self-driving for a while. And so I think I have a unique perspective on this. And I think that there's some things where Tesla doesn't like it when people are showing videos, so I can't include other people's videos. I had Midjourney make this nice, cool red Tesla. That's about as much as I can show you. But this is more about talking about how it experiences it. And there's a little bit of that is in here, especially like a picture like this. This is kind of what it looks like. In a lot of ways, is this worth it? Is it a bust? Is it overpowered? Somewhere in between. I think this video will answer that for you. So first of all, it was pretty cool when I first got it. It was sort of like advanced not autopilot, cruise control, advanced cruise control that just kind of kept you in the lane. There is an issue that it has had for a really long time, and actually I don't see it hasn't gotten better in 4 years. In fact, it's gotten worse, and which is that it jumps at shadows essentially. And what's really weird about that is that it's not just that it jumps at kind of random things. Like I'll be driving along and somebody will be on the sidewalk, and it'll slow down real suddenly just in case that person jumps out of the road or something. And those situations are a little stranger. But there's actually a couple places in my normal driving where it doesn't matter what is there, it slows down significantly. And so this is a major issue. Now, to be clear, this isn't about just shitting on Tesla the whole time, because there's a lot that there's a lot of cool things it does. It does a lot of things really, really well, and you can use it a lot. And here's the thing: I have a Model 3. I have heard that the Model S's, for some reason it's smoother, the whole experience. Now I get nauseous, I get motion sick, and so this is my biggest complaint would be it's just kind of jerky. There's so many situations where it slams on the brakes for no good reason, or it waits way too long. So in a situation, let me find the situation. Okay, I'm gonna use this as a scenario, just to this is a Midjourney drawing thing. So basically, the way it approaches lights up ahead, especially if it's like a red light, is very nauseating sometimes. And I think this has improved slightly. But like if I turn on the autopilot and I'm maybe like 1,000 feet from a red light and there's a bunch of cars stopped there, it'll actually like speed up and then slow down really suddenly. It's really obnoxious. And I find that in general, the usage of coasting with the autopilot is just not there, and this would really, really help with nauseousness. Additionally, like you're driving on the highway going 80 miles an hour and there's a sign that says 65 mile an hour speed limit, it just like lowers the autopilot immediately, the max the max speed to like 65 miles an hour, and then it slams on the brakes, and it's very uncomfortable. And there's a lot of other situations where it does this, where it'll like jerk one way, or it just kind of randomly starts to slam on the brakes. It's quite nauseating. This is the worst part of it. All that criticism, I think that they will get there, and I think they have the most data, and so they're going to probably be the first company that gets there. I do believe that it is possible, and it's possible in not too long of a time. Obviously, we're not there yet. It's not completely ready, but it is pretty safe and it's pretty good. There's been a couple times where I'm like, what is it doing? Like it felt like it was I actually had to it was like turning me into another car. And like fortunately I've always been able to take hold of it. I don't know what's going on there. My concern would be, if I was looking at this from the outside, which I am, I guess, that the improvement hasn't really been there. So I think there's an interesting lesson that we can learn about this from AI, kind of AI in general, which is that necessarily more data is not necessarily better. and because they're trying. It seems like they're trying to make the car extra safe. And try to err on the side of safety, which is why they're, when somebody walks by, they're slamming on the brakes. But then there's a lot of situations where they're making it less comfortable and less safe. Like I talked about when they're approaching the light, it's like speeding up to the light and then slamming on the brakes. That's not safe and that's not comfortable. There's a lot of situations like that. Or like just the other day, it was riding in someone's blind spot. That is not okay. That definitely shouldn't happen. It should speed up or slow down to avoid that. There's a whole host of other situations where I feel like there's a lot of room that at least it hasn't gotten better. In 4 years, it hasn't gotten better. And again, in some situations, especially like the nauseating situations, it's worse. So, this is hopefully if this gets back to Tesla, don't ban my full self-driving. I still generally like it, and I think it has improved a little bit. But maybe take it for the criticism that it is, which is that AI in general, just because it can do a certain amount doesn't mean it will always be able to improve beyond that. It does feel like there are going to be walls that are hit in terms of maybe GPT-5 isn't any better than GPT-4. Maybe it takes them 3 years to release GPT-5 because they're running into walls. So, I think it's an interesting lesson in general about AI and how it's going to develop because of the kind of the lack of improvement of full self-driving. Like it really, again, just comparing it to autopilot when I first had it, I actually liked autopilot more. It was less nauseating, to be honest, and I kind of wish I could roll back. Sometimes I actually wish I just had normal cruise control so that I could just do cruise control and control it and not have to worry about like it suddenly slamming on the brakes for no reason and making me want to throw up. So in general, I would say it's not a bust, but it's definitely not OP. And I definitely don't think it's a bust. They have rolled things out and put it out there as they promised. And I know they take a lot of criticism for that. I actually think that they've done a good job of that. I think that their desire that they're putting it out there is a very bold and correct thing in a lot of ways, because this is not about comparing the Tesla full self-driving to zero accidents, because there's not zero accidents. Human drivers are not perfect, and far from it. And Teslas, there's all those videos online of Teslas saving people's lives or seeing accidents, avoiding them, potentially saving people's lives because it sees things and it acts appropriately. And it can see something and act on it before a human can even see it, or even from an angle that humans can't see it. And I respect the hell out of Tesla for going for it. I wish they would have like an anti-nausea mode that doesn't slam on the brakes quite so much, or at least it tries to ease its way down. I wish they would approach like stopped traffic in a more chill way. So I'm optimistic that they'll solve a lot of these issues. Maybe the nauseousness thing isn't on the radar. Maybe Elon Musk never gets nauseous or whatever. So, or they just don't get complaints like that. Maybe I'm somewhat unique in that area. That's fine. But again, I think that there's some really interesting implications you can get from the Tesla full self-driving and their AI. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, like it and subscribe. Thanks, and have a great day. Bye.